Hello everybody, welcome to this latest installment of CIS Roundtable. Certainly one of my favorite moments every month is when we all come together to talk about something that really matters to us all. And today is no exception. We're going to be broaching the subject of school-parent partnership.
The common point between educators and parents is we both want, the best for the students, for the kids, and then the well-being of the students and the positive development of the students, right? The distinction is, where it is being carried out, right? It's like, so at school, it's being carried out by the educators, and at home, it's really parents leading by example.
Both parents and teachers are supporting learners. They have the kids' best interests at heart, and to sort of take a wellbeing term that CIS is using, that their aim and their goal is to ensure that each learner, each student is flourishing. I think where the difference lies is probably in the experience and the expertise. Obviously, there's different things that are being brought to the table there. Teachers bring professional educational knowledge, they bring expertise in curriculum, and parents, I think, bring a really unique viewpoint on a student's individual needs and their background outside of school, which teachers don't have insight to unless parents share that with them. So I think, but together, those two pieces need to be combined to have that holistic view.
It always comes back to relationships, I think, and the importance of building that trust and open communication between students, teachers, parents. Assuming positive intent, we want to challenge our students, but in the appropriate way. We want our students to make mistakes, as you mentioned, Elise, but having that kind of 360-degree support can only be beneficial for students. And so I think the similarities are much more important than any differences that there may be.
I think we all agree that generally as you go from primary to secondary, the role your parents have in your life, I guess, like the active role they have diminishes, but I still think to a large extent the support system is there. It just doesn't constantly need to be there. Most students understand that if we really need help from our teachers or our parents, they're still there.
How would we take all these ideas and come up with a definition of what a partnership would mean between school and parents?
It would be similar to a definition that we would have for collaboration, where we're working together towards a common goal, which would be to support a student as much as we possibly can, and then in different areas of the student's life at school, whether it's academic or CCAs or whatever, or advisory, to have certain goals within that teachers and students and parents are working together in relation to, and everybody's aware of what those are.
And I think what I would add to that, Chris, is respect and trust.
I guess maybe situationally in Hong Kong, it's a relatively safe city to be in, and the school environment and everything else around it is also, I feel it's quite a safe space for children to grow up in and to try new things and to explore new things that they would like to try out. There's a safe space for you to express your thinking freely without feeling like you're being judged or that you would people would find offensive, or it's just a place that you can explore your ideas and your thinking.
I think that comes back to what Chris mentioned earlier too about assuming positive intent, right? You're always, whenever anyone's sharing with you or giving you feedback, you're assuming positive intent on their part towards that common goal of helping students succeed, whether it's your child or your student.
One thing that I noticed is the very, very good about CIS is that whenever you have some thoughts to share, no matter good or bad, you want to talk to someone in school, no matter it's teacher, homeroom teacher, or the head coach or whoever it is, they will listen very carefully to what you're thinking about the school and the kid, and that is the very, very best thing that I cherish the most.
But speaking of the environment, what's particular about our own context is that we are bilingual, actually probably plurilingual. People speak other languages at home, right? Does that give us a particular opportunity, but also maybe challenges that we need to face when we build the partnership that we believe to be necessary for our students?
When you're working in an environment like this where there are a number of cultures, you need to be very flexible and open-minded, because the way that you grew up and the way things were is not necessarily the way it was for another family, or so you have to bear in mind and be able to see different points of view.
We respect other people. We also have many forums and opportunities for all members of the community to come together to voice their opinions. And there's this element of trust and connection that's so distinct, where we all feel like our voices are heard and respected. And if we don't understand or if we don't agree with a certain point of view, we respect it still. But we also share what we're thinking about and come together to create and make decisions where it reflects what everyone's thinking.
We know that in Hangzhou, we have a program called Joo Hawks. And it would just be really great for each of you to just tell us maybe what that is, first of all, but then how like the school-parent partnership in that context really made a difference, because I know you both feel that way.
Hangzhou Hawks in specific was a collaboration between the visual arts, film, design, and like INSO in the form of economics, where we form small groups and you have to design a product and you have to just like do research on like how you can market it, and then you have to make the marketing yourself. So there's a poster, there's branding, you have to make an advertisement, which is the film element. So at the very end, this culminates into something like Shark Tank, but it's hawks and not sharks, where we get a panel of parents who are all entrepreneurs and are experienced in like business and entrepreneurship and creating their own companies. And then we all make a quick like 6-minute pitch to them about our product. We show it off, we show the advertising, and then eventually we all get feedback. And I do think all the feedback was very valuable in the sense that it's really unique what someone who's actually been through the process of like making a startup, incubating it, and eventually if it succeeds or fails, you always learn lessons from the process.
Hawks was a wonderful and awesome experience because we really got a taste of what the real market looks like. We created a pitch that we directly delivered to parent investors. They really wanted us to use China as our classroom, which is what the mission in Hangzhou is about. They didn't think like, oh, you're doing a school assignment. They're thinking you're actually in the industry, and now I'm here to challenge your ideas and give you alternatives.
Do you feel like the questions you got asked when you were making your pitch would have been, I don't know, different? Had a teacher asked you those instead of like one of the parents?
I feel like being able to be asked a question that directly comes from someone who's also tried to create a pitch to other investors, who's tried to create a product that addresses a need in the community, it just makes you think more critically and in a more nuanced way, like this is a real problem that we're facing in the community, and what can we do as a team to address it together.
We're very fortunate that there's obviously, we've got a wealth of expertise and resources within the parental community, and trying to encourage parents to come and share and be part of Joo Hawks as an example, or workshops that we might have in the school, to have that opportunity to hear from experts who have a clear and direct link to the school. We can only do more of that.
How about outside of the classroom now? Maybe just thinking in general about like our experience of being together as a community, which is so important in our school in particular. We owe such a deep debt of gratitude to our parent community for so many different memorable moments in our lives. One's coming up, that's the annual CIS fair. So much time and energy is devoted by parents to these community building events. What's motivating parents?
For me personally, I feel very honored to be able to chair this event, to put together this community event for the community I love so much. It's like an 80 parent team sitting on the fair committee. And we have like 26 small teams. And not factoring, I haven't even factored in the 400 volunteers that are going to volunteer on the day to make the fair happen. Because I think one thing that's so unique about CIS, I always say that's like the DNA of CIS, is how tight and close and strong and dedicated our community is. It's like what Tracy said, right? Like we always have an abundance of parents putting their hands up to say, I'm here. I like just assign me to do something. And I think to be able to be given the space, supported by the school, and allowing, like all parties to come together to just really bond. And it is a year to connect, so to really connect with each other, like ranging from staff, teachers, parents, student bodies like SAE, Phoenix Productions. So we really try to engage all parties. CIS motto is to seek and to serve, and to be able to show that, to show my kids, the students, I mean that's such a, to be able to show that as an example, to really lift that out, even though I didn't go to school here, but I feel that I'm part of it.
Also, as an alum, I think we also add to that, because I think the alum body is also very strong, and to be able to participate in a lot of the community events is also it's a very popular idea. Our cohort is so tight-knit that we would always come back and volunteer to help out. And I think it's also like the team, like the committee, and everyone we work with, all the parents we work with, and the school, the staff, everyone is quite like-minded in a sense that we work very well together. And I think that's kind of, it's a very good cycle that like you want to keep working with the people you work well with, and then the community sense becomes like a lot stronger throughout the years.
We all hope that not only the best for our kid, but also the best for the school. Because the schools spend a lot of energy and resources in educating the kid, we are proud of being a part of CIS, and we hope that we can be proud of CIS for many, many years to come. We can have concerts, we can have fairs, and many things, many good things, and these will be very unforgettable memories, not only for the parents, kids, but also for all the faculty, and we form like a community atmosphere.
How do we capture parent feedback and then put it to use?
One way that's maybe consistent is through the parent year level reps that we have in primary and we have in secondary, and so there's a regular meeting where certainly in secondary, all the parent reps will come in once a month and meet with Christine, Mrs. Dolman as head of secondary, Mr. Mackay, myself. We get a lot of great feedback from parents at that time in terms of what's been happening, any current events that are SBTCs, for example, any questions with regards to that. Open house at the start of the year, we often get a lot of really good feedback. It's been very helpful. So that's one very effective means of getting feedback. Student-led conferences as well, which is really about the process of learning and how students set targets related to the feedback that they get from each of their individual teachers. But at the end of the process, we hope there's that conversation that takes place at home, and then feedback. We ask for feedback from students and parents after that event.
Sometimes in school we have very specific programs that we're trying to implement. A really good example would be visible well-being. We need to explain it to our parents so that we're all able to be on the same page and work together to achieve those goals. How do we go about that?
It's about building parent understanding of what wellbeing is and the skills and strategies that we're using with the kids at school. It's about sharing the knowledge that we have around that, and it all, I think, builds into enhancing community wellbeing. I think in enhancing the wellbeing of students, we're also enhancing the wellbeing of the community. As staff, we model that for students. We've all had training and we know that. Parents haven't had the benefit of that same sort of wellbeing training, but we have staff who can share with them and sort of build their own understanding and look at or share ways that they can use what we're using at school at home.
Anything we didn't talk about you wanted to say?
I wanted to say this roundtable is an example of parent-school partnership.
Oh yeah, nice.
Think of that, yeah.
And how we share this in your emails, on social media and on YouTube, so everyone's aware of what's going on and they feel like they're a part of it. And whenever anyone has any questions or suggestions, people just ask one another and think about how to move forward together.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are very, very grateful to you for tuning in to this CIS Roundtable. We hope that you've enjoyed the conversation as much as we have. Certainly, our panelists shed a lot of light on one of the secrets of success at Chinese International School. And we wish you all the very, very best.